Hey. I was thinking, so I wanted to come on here and share my thoughts with you. Today, this morning, as I was reading from the Book of Awakening, as I do every day, they have a message for every day. And I recorded and put it in my Facebook group, Ready, Set, Live on Purpose. But as I was reading today, I realized we are on June 6th already. Like it seemed that June just came in and we are already 6 days in. And so I realized that I never did a video talking about how June is Black Music Month. You know, on the radio, they used to talk about it a lot when Tom Joyner was there, but we really hadn't had anything to let us know that that's what June is, or to remind us, I guess I should say. But what I've been doing for the month of June in appreciation of Black music, because Black music influenced pretty much all music. I've been listening to music in the mornings when I work out instead of listening to my book. Today, I listened to Uncle Luke. If you know, you know. Like I was listening to different music than what I normally listen to. And I tell you, music is life. It's life. I listen to music every day. There's not a day that goes by that I won't listen to music. I just had decided that the mornings is for development, and so I've been listening to books instead of doing the music. But it's been a fun ride for these past 6 days. I tell you, I've been more energized while working out. But June is also Pride Month. And, people have their own feelings about what that means to them. And for me, I was just so excited because, well, we had a parade and a festival this past weekend. I didn't go, but we had a bike ride last night to celebrate Pride Month. And one of the things that I'm always curious about are the letters. I know what some of those letters mean and what it represents in relationships, but some letters I have more challenges understanding. And so yesterday, I had the pleasure to have such a wonderful conversation with someone who is transgender. Now, I know what that means, but I didn't really understand it. And I tell you, in order to not be ignorant, you have to either research, whether it's through conversation or Googling or what, because one of the things that I try to live by is love for everyone. It's challenging sometimes, especially for people who don't love me back and who want to see harm to people who don't deserve it. But that's the way I try to live my life. And so I was just appreciative that this person allowed me to ask every question, no matter how ignorant it may have been, because it allowed me to learn a little bit more about the space that they live in. And it reminds me of my book, The Heart of Radical Caring. I don't know if you forgot about this, but it is still out there. But in the book, I talk about how we need to be curious about one another, curious about the things that we don't understand so that we can understand. And one of the quotations that I post in my book is from Albert Einstein. And it says, the important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. In order for us to better understand one another, to be able to show love for one another and have compassion for each other, we need to be curious. Instead of putting our judgment out there based on our ignorance, have a conversation, ask questions. I really loved the bike ride yesterday because we talked for the entire bike ride, which was like an hour, 40 minutes. So I got a lot of good information, and no question was off limits. And I appreciated that. There are times, I remember when George Floyd, that situation had happened, and I would have some of my white friends call me to ask questions because they just didn't understand. And to a certain degree, as Black people, we feel like we shouldn't have to explain because there's so much information out there as far as what has happened to us from the beginning in this country. But the reality is that a lot of people are not going to research. They may not even know where to start. So having a conversation and explaining myself and why I feel this way and what, it means for Black people to be treated this way and all of that, it's not a burden. It's not a burden for me. And so I appreciated the conversation because I learned a lot. I was definitely enlightened to that lifestyle because it was one that I just didn't understand. And it's probably one that it was the most difficult for me to wrap my mind around to truly understand. And I mean, I still have so much more I know that I need to learn, but it was such a great start and such great conversation. So I guess I'll say to you, in regards to people who may be different than you, and it doesn't have to be sexuality or race, it could be whatever it is. Get to know more about them, ask questions, be curious, because that way we can all grow from one another. And then we also can have compassion for one another. So that is my message for today. And I will be back with you again at some point. But yeah, I was really appreciative for the conversation last night. All righty. You all take care. Bye-bye.